Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the rule well and teach well, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This out here preaching this truth in all honesty and sincerity. All right, this is a quick video. All right, and I want to mainly speak on, this TikTok clip. All right, because us, Israelites, we don't look at America in the same lens as you Edomites, man. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, this is our hell. All right, this is not our rest. So we're not going to defend Babylon tooth and nail to stand. All right.
The fall. So it's clear that we are watching the fall of the American empire in real time. And there is a stark difference in the way that the white community is responding and how the black community is responding. The black community en masse has completely withdrawn. They fought, they campaigned, they warned us, and we chose the orange man anyway. And they're out. The white community, on the other hand, is fighting those of us who aren't under Trump's spell. And there is this real sentiment that if we can just get Trump out of the way, then we can all get back to normal. But the thing is, that's not what God is doing. And I'm not a nihilist, but we're missing the point.
All right, but you get the gist of what he's saying. All right, is that he say that, who they call black or the so-called Negro, or is, really they go back to the tribe of Judah, man. All right. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are what is described as, blacks. All right. Black isn't a nation. Black is a color. Or you can't describe a nation of people just by color alone, because all the nations, or majority of them, are melanated except Esau, Edom. All right. But, yeah, so the reason why, Jake are against Esau, because there's our natural born enemy, all right, from the womb, Jacob and Esau. So, of course, any devil they put in their office, Jake going to be against, all right? Jake really against all Edomites, all of the descendants of Esau. But this country taught them to be passive and to accept, all right, certain devils, all right, which you still know what these devils are capable of and how they feel about us. But that's why, we looking at it differently, all right, and to a degree, seem like we held off or, counted this thing over, because it's not our country, man. All right, that's what a lot of these devils don't understand.
The white community is responding and how the black community is responding.
Yeah, he said it's a difference how we responding. This is not our country, man. This is not our rest. This is the land of our captivity. Or we are yet this day in captivity. All right, so we don't look at this place as being free, home of the free, home of the brave. We don't look at it how these devils look at it. That's what they don't understand. All right, Independence Day, Jake just celebrated, just because, get a day off work and get to cook out and stay with family. All right, we don't look at it like, oh, proud to be an American and all this shit. All right, this is not our country, man. We was brought here with majority of our people. All right, and the ones that was already here, which it was majority of them was, the native tribes. All right, the native Indian, the Seminole Indian. All right, the other tribes in South America. All right, the Arawak Indians. All right, and the Caribbean islands. All right.
The en masse has completely withdrawn. They fought.
Yeah, so we were drawn because, hey, Jake already knew what it was with this devil getting in, man. Especially his first term. All right, he's talking about deporting Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. All right, he's talking about all this, man. All right, so, we pretty much know what time it was with these devils. All right, so it's not new to us what Trump doing. This ain't surprising to Jake. All right, it's surprising to a lot of y'all devils. All right, or the fact that y'all getting hurt in the long run of what he doing. Y'all really don't got a problem with what he doing. It's just that it's affecting you. That's the problem with all.
They warned us, and we chose the orange man anyway. And they're out.
Yeah, so they chose Esau, and it was quite ironic, which it was just spiritual, how, Esau was all gung-ho about ICE taking, deporting, the northern tribes. But, you know, hey, they end up killing one of the citizens, a female, Edomite female. All right. So it's backfiring on you. Everything Esau do to come against the tribes is going to backfire on himself. All right. It's a beautiful thing to see because he at his end, man.
The white community, on the other hand, is fighting those of us who aren't under Trump's spell. And there is this real sentiment that if we can just get Trump out of the way, then we can all get back to normal.
This place ain't going back to normal. It's done, man. It's not going back to pre-2019 or 2020, man. All right, so y'all fighting to keep hold of y'all kingdom. Y'all think if Trump get out of office, everything gonna go back to normal? Nah. Say if he not the man to bring the end, all right, you know, hey, somebody else gonna take his place to finish what he so-called started, which this thing started back in way beyond the 70s, way beyond the inception of America. All right, these devils already was in power, and they already knew what they wanted to accomplish at these end times that we coming into. Or they want to take over the tribes. Basically, they want to wipe us off the face of the earth. We are the salt of the earth, so that will never happen. All right? The Lord said the earth going to abide forever, and he's going to come back for his remnant. All right, so y'all can fight to hold y'all kingdom, but it don't change the fact that it's going down. We're coming up on the 250th anniversary, all right, of America. All right, so this place is done, man. All right, civilizations rarely, if not ever, go past the 250th year mark. So this place is done. All right, you can fight tooth and nail, but hey, Jake not trying to fight the uphold Esau kingdom, mainly the ones that's in the know. All right.
The thing is, that's not what God is doing. And I'm not a nihilist, but we're missing the point. The point is this white supremacist system has wreaked enough havoc. Enough. And God is judging it.
The Most High is judging this place more than a white supremacist system. It's the fact with these, what they want to call the powers to be are doing, you know, it's their time. It's at the end of that. The Lord can give a damn about a white supremacist, man. All right, the Lord, you know, even though he gonna get on their ass too, all right, but, you know, the Lord is about, you know, establishing righteousness. All right, Yahweh Shai is coming to, all right, you know, take down these elites' infrastructure. All right, you white supremacists gonna be the last thing on the list, man. Basically, y'all gonna go through hell and judgment and tribulation. But the time we coming into, hey, it's a terrible time to be a white supremacist. Or no, scratch that. It's a terrible time to be an Edomite in general. You don't gotta be a white supremacist. It's a terrible time to be an Edomite. All right, so a white supremacist, man, that's not the reason why this infrastructure is collapsing, man. All right, West, you know, this place was built, well, not really built on it, but it allowed these devils to have a sense of pride and arrogance. So that's what's about to get wiped off the face of the earth. All right, these devils gonna get mad. That's why the spirit rising back up, because it lay dormant so long, which has been going on behind the scenes. But these devils gonna rear their horns, all right in the front of the scene. All right, so you got these secret devils, you know, they secretly hate Jake. All right, but soon they're gonna be revealed and found out. So all it's doing is just exposing this white supremacist system. All right, people denied it for years, thought that the so-called, you know, blacks, basically Israelites, the Jakes, was just lying and making excuses. But now y'all gonna see that we haven't been making excuses all this time, man. All right, but the Lord is about to deliver us, man. About to deliver us. All right, but even though, you know, these racist ass, which they supposed to be like that, all right, which we not in an uproar about it, all right, because just like they hate us, we hate them. All right, the feeling is mutual. So, you know, all this cookie cutter shit is about to be wiped out the way. All right.
And the fact that we are clinging so hard to it makes me wonder, what does the black community see that we don't, that's allowing them to totally let go right now?
So what we see, man, we see the collapse of your kingdom, man. That's what we see, man. All right. All right. So a lot of Jake are in fear because, you know, they take a part of this system, joining hand in hand with Esau, but they're going to go down too. All right, but for the most part, man, you know, the ones that's in the know, we see y'all collapsing and we cheering it on, man. All right, we're not going down. You is. Esau was the end of the world and Jacob was the beginning of the world that follows. So after this kingdom, all right, Jake gonna rule next. All right, so hey, we cheering it on, man. All right, so we don't give a damn about you devils going down, cause this not our kingdom, man. This don't, America don't have nothing to do with us. It just, you know, when we look at America in the grand scheme, when it's all said and done, it's gonna be a place of our suffering, a place of our hell, and the Lord gonna redeem us from it. So, hey, Lord willing, is edifying. And with that being said, shalom.